Hello, welcome back to Big W Barbecue. Today we're going to be smoking miniature pork fatties. If you're not familiar with what a pork fatty is, it reminds me a lot of a burrito, but instead of a tortilla shell, we're going to be having ground pork sausage. So here in a couple hours, I'm going to be heading up to Ames for the Iowa State football homecoming game. So instead of doing the traditional fatty, I'm going to make miniature ones. This is just going to be a lot more easier to handle, and it's going to be a little more bite-sized, so it's very convenient for tailgating or appetizers. Since this is going to be an early game, I'm going to be using breakfast ingredients. So let's go ahead and start preparing. So I've got 2 pounds of ground sausage here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking to have about 10 fatties per pound. So we should be able to get about 20 if I'm guesstimating right here. So I'm just going to start tearing these apart and trying to get equal proportions. So I got these divided into about 20 equal proportions here. If you can't tell by the size of them, I would compare them to a little bit bigger than a golf ball. So then from here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flattening out each one, almost making it like a little boat. And then we're going to go ahead and grab your ingredients and fill those up. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the ingredients I'm going to be using here. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be heading up to the early football game here, so I've got breakfast-oriented ingredients. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and scrambled up some eggs, and a quick disclaimer there, I would recommend cooking them to about 3/4 of the way done to the way you like them. These are going to be finishing the cookout in the smoker there, so you don't want to overcook them, and they can get rubbery pretty easy there. As well as I went ahead and cut up onions, green peppers, and I went ahead and sauteed those for a couple minutes just to start the cooking process. One of the other ingredients I'm going to be using is ham here, so I went ahead and cut that up, as well as I'm going to be using mild cheddar cheese, and I went ahead and cubed that up. And then, so I've got my ingredients over here. I went ahead and divided them into bowls there. It'll be a little bit easier to handle when I start stuffing these. So I went ahead and I mixed half the eggs with the sauteed vegetables there, and I am going to add some cheese as well. And then in the second bowl here, I went ahead and added some ham and eggs together. And then the final one, I've just got some ham and cheese here for the last variety, as well as some of this cheese here will be used for the other two as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and start making these things. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky. You kind of got to play with it a little bit, but I think the easiest way to do it is just go ahead and grab one, go ahead and flatten it out a little bit there, and you're almost gonna make like a little boat. Then we're gonna go ahead and just start putting some ingredients in there. Get that compacted there, and then go ahead and you're gonna roll it up into a ball, just kind of seal it up. You want to make sure that everything gets sealed up there, so like the cheese and stuff doesn't ooze out as much as possible. Okay, that looks pretty good there. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap a piece of bacon around the outside here. Now, this is totally optional, but as I found with anything, adding bacon just makes it just a little bit better there. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and then once you got the bacon on it, then I'm going to go ahead and just roll it in some rub here. This is just going to top off the flavor a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this here in a second, but since I'm using different varieties here, I'm going to be using toothpicks here to kind of distinguish between the difference. I've got a couple different methods that you can use, which I'll be discussing here shortly, but let's go ahead and keep preparing these. So then, yeah, you're just going to go ahead and repeat the process. You're going to go ahead and make your little boat again. Some of these are a little bit different size there, so if they're a little bit smaller, you can go ahead and cut your strips of bacon. Then with the egg variety, I'm just going to use a spoon here, and just kind of get a good spoonful there. both a little bit of eggs, a little bit of ham, and I'm gonna put a little bit of cheese in there. Alrighty, so I got them all wrapped up. Before taking these out to the smoker, I do want to talk about a couple things here. One of the challenges here, since you've got different ingredients, is being able to tell which one has which ingredients. So I went ahead and used color-coded toothpicks. I just used a regular toothpick and with a marker. I just colored the top of it. They do have the colored toothpicks that you can buy, but I didn't have time to find any of those, so I just went ahead and used a marker. Should work just fine. Another idea, you can go ahead and draw out your grill, and you can go ahead and divide them into however many different varieties you have here. So you could, each part of the grill, would have a certain ingredient. That way you can keep track of it. Or you can just use the toothpick idea. So whatever's easiest for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and top these off with a little more rub, and then we're gonna go and take them out to the smoker. But before doing that, I do wanna talk a little bit about how we're gonna be cooking these. I'm gonna be having a pit temperature of around 250 to 275. I'm probably gonna be closer up to 275, just because we're using bacon. If you get a little bit higher temps, it'll help crisp that up a little bit better. And I'm going to be using apple wood as my smoke, and I would imagine these are going to be taking probably close to an hour. However, I do have a probe that I will be checking periodically. We're going to be looking for an internal temperature of 165 degrees. But before we hit that 165 degree mark, maybe around 160 or so, I am going to go ahead and top it off with a little bit of maple syrup. Like I mentioned before, this is a breakfast themed, and I figured just give it a little more sweetness to it. You don't have to do that, or if it's later in the day, you can put barbecue sauce on there, or by all means, you can just leave them as is. They'll be delicious just like that too. So yeah, let's go ahead and take these out to the smoker. All right, we're back inside now. Took a little over an hour to reach our 165 internal temp. So I went ahead and put all of them in a crock pot so they're ready to go up to the game. But I did leave one out here so that we can do a quick taste here. So yeah, I have got the ham, egg, and cheese one. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig in. So yeah, everything looks great here. Got a lot of moisture left. Smells good, and so yeah, let's go ahead and take a quick bite. It's very good. A couple things right off the bat. It definitely has a great smoke flavor. The maple syrup definitely sweetens things up, and yeah, it's got a lot of good flavor there. I think everything turned out great. So yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and pack these things up, and I'm gonna be heading up to Ames here very briefly. I'm hoping to bring the camera with me, as well as see if I can track down any brave souls that wanna do a taste test and analysis here on the camera. I'm hoping to be able to get that. That doesn't sound entertaining to you, feel free to pass on that. Thanks guys for tuning in today. Be sure to let me know in the comments if you've ever tried these, or if you do try them, let me know what ingredients you use. Be curious to hear the different recipes that people think of. So yeah, thanks again guys for watching this video. I appreciate the time. If you have enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up here on the bottom, as well as if you want to stay up to date on upcoming videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel or like us on Facebook. Thanks again guys, have a good one.
This is a cyclone weather alert. Ladies and gentlemen, radar has indicated a strong storm approaching Jack Rice Stadium. High winds and low visibility are expected. Fans in the warned area should seek immediate cover.
When I get up with the cyclones, opposition's minds blown. Turn the stadium lights on and fans know the fight song. Throw me the bootleg and I'm gone. Then I take a few steps and I juke left, and the people take a deep breath and I'm up in your end zone. 816 boys, we reppin' connected with Iowa State. Play out of position and it's checkmate if you hesitate. You've been told offense and defense is dropping the load on all contenders that pretend to be Cardinal and gold.
Wow, that's really good. Definitely tastes the smoky flavor. I love that rub.
Let your players get near. Holler if you hear. Oh, miracle. Real loud. The ISU crowd going wild. Coming through. Cali Bay. 4th and 1, 1st and 4. We running up the score. Even if we ain't invited, beating down your door. It's ludicrous the way we move the sticks and prove that we the ones that you should boo and hiss at. We'll lay you on your business. Okay. That's 3 and out. We the type of players y'all read about. They can never see us in the P, but now the playbook W is what they need without. Okay. That's 816-515. See we get live. Cyclone fans is wildin' out. All in the stands and they talking back.